I want to give a trigger warning before I jump into this next and final little story I want to talk about. I'll be listening and playing because, my misery enjoys company. Stephen A. Smith is not happy.
Respectfully, Senator, what the hell are you doing? Looking into the camera and telling military men and women to ignore the commander-in-chief. How dare you? How dare you do that? That's right, I'm calling out. I never served in the military. That's true. I have family members who did. Some of my best friends have. Marines, Air Force, Navy, Army. I haven't heard one of them, not one of them, say that was okay. How dare you do that? Is it treason? No. Is it punishable by death? It shouldn't be. So the answer is no. But you know better, Senator Kelly. You know better. How dare you do that? What are you supposed to do? You're a ranking senator. You could go to the Senate. You could go to the House. You can draw up paperwork. You can try to start articles of impeachment if you think there's something illegal. I mean, damn, it ain't like y'all haven't done it before. You impeached the man twice. Where'd that get you? Got his behind back in the White House. Had you left him alone since 2020, maybe he wouldn't be back.
Screaming A. Smith is an idiot. I mean, I think we already knew that.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you do that?
He doesn't know what he's talking about. So he went on this tirade for a few minutes. I'm going to play one more part. So he's going to come in yelling again. Just want to warn you guys.
And here you are again with this nonsense. How dare you do that? I'm not a military person, and I know better than that. You don't tell military men and women to ignore an order from the commander-in-chief. You don't do that. Is it going to amount to what Trump tried to embellish and indicate? No. But that don't make you right. How dare you do that? He's the commander-in-chief for the United States military. Period. You have no business doing that. None. And by the way, the biggest reason is because what was illegal? You didn't tell us what it was. What laws? Why did I bring up A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise and Kiefer Sutherland in that sequence and Kevin Bacon? Why did I bring it up? Because the mere thought of you even implying that a military officer is engaging in some type of salacious or illegal activity is trouble in the military, not the court of laws for civilians, the military.
What is Stephen A. Smith's relationship with friends and family that have been in the military that apparently, in his conclusions, have no problem with this? What the hell does that have to do with the law? What does that have to do with violating orders? I mean, violating the law and following illegal orders. What does that have to do with any of this? Why should anybody care what Stephen A. Smith's friends and family that he claims have no issue with what it is that Trump's illegal orders have been given? Why should anybody care about that? You're just Stephen A. Smith, bro. Like this weird, inflated sense of how everything he thinks is supposed to be what everyone takes as reality.
You don't tell military men and women to ignore their commander.
We already know, we know the lie, bro. Like, he's a little bit late on that. We already know that they've been lying and saying that they told them to ignore lawful orders when it's obvious they've been told to ignore unlawful orders. As a matter of fact, to clear this up even better, to get even further past what these 6 lawmakers said that you shouldn't do, one of those 6 lawmakers, again, in Mark Kelly, points out it's not only what they say you shouldn't do, it's what the law actually says they're not even allowed to do.
Washington Post reporting that Secretary Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody on one of those suspected drug boats during the first strike in September. Are you calling for U.S. service members to actively disobey orders like those?
Well, if orders are illegal, not only do they not have to follow them, they are legally required not to follow them.
Do you think that constitutes an illegal order?
I think there needs to be an investigation, and I hope that the reporting is not accurate. I care so much about the United States Navy and those service members. This was an operation involving the most professional members of the military, U.S. Navy SEALs, who I revere. I hope and pray that this is not true. But there needs to be an investigation by the Inspector General. Pete Hegseth fired many of the inspectors general in DOD. But who's ever left needs to investigate it. We're going to investigate it. I sit on the Armed Services Committee. We're going to have an investigation. We're going to have a public hearing. We're going to put these folks under oath, and we're going to find out what happened, and then there needs to be accountability.
If orders are illegal, they don't only not have to not follow those orders, they are required legally to not follow those orders. Hey, Stephen A. Smith has some friends and family that had no issue with this. Hey, there's another military guy who has an issue with this. Which one should we believe? Just because you have someone that says one thing, and even if Mark Kelly just says something, you don't have to necessarily believe him either just because he was in the military. But there's this whole thing where there's evidence and reality and, the law that backs up one argument or another. We've decided to eliminate ourselves from evidence and reality-based arguments and just say Stephen A. Smith was screaming loud enough. So apparently Screaming A. Smith is right because he's so mad and he said 17 times, "How dare you? How dare you, Senator? With all due respect, as I continue to kiss Donald Trump's ass." I promise. I promise. This is the last one.
Senator Mark Kelly knows that. Trump is giving illegal orders. What are the illegal orders? How come you didn't tell us? Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Why do you think the investigation is going on? Why do you think Trump is all over Pete Hegseth, over the Department of War and the FBI with Kash Patel, and folks are looking into and probing what's going on and how can they get to Mark Kelly because they know he did something wrong. You crossed the damn line. You are an elected official in the nation's capital. We have a constitution. You got a problem, you go through the necessary process. Whether it's Hakeem Jeffries in the House, whether it's Schumer in the Senate, or anybody else. That is the point that's the process you're supposed to go to. You don't go in front of the cameras and give military officer or military personnel a directive to ignore their commander-in-chief, and you've given no evidence what his illegal orders were. And if you try to sit up there and say, oh, it was just alluding to a future reference to future situations, oh, so he's going to give you an illegal order in the future.
I'm not sure the date of that Yell Fest, but if it was before, as he mentioned how Trump's all over Hegseth, so maybe it wasn't before, which makes it even worse. If it was before, yes, they're talking about future illegal orders on top of the already illegal orders because we've already been blowing up people's ships in the middle of the Caribbean already. We know those are illegal orders. But Stephen A. Smith is nice and cuddly and snuggled up under Donald Trump's nutsack, so he's very happy to be there. It's all warm and cuddly for him. He enjoys it. So he has to find a way to scream it on and on about this, to try and avoid this guy having any kind of consequence for what it is that they're doing. Do you guys remember Stephen A. Smith was on the wrong side when it came to Epstein files? He says, who cares about it? I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me.
You're in an uproar off the Epstein list? That's all you've got? It's really, really surprising that this matters. Of course, I think there's a list, but I don't know. I suspect, but I have no knowledge, nor do I care. It's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out and enjoy myself. I'm getting ready to have a nice weekend. I could give a damn about the Epstein client list. It has no effect on me whatsoever. I have a life. I don't understand for the life of me why this matters so much to these. I'm talking about people losing it. They're crying on camera. They're talking about resignations. They're pissed off about everything. I'm like, really? I didn't blame Trump one bit for looking at them and saying, really? That really matters to you? That's really that important?
Why do I give a damn? This is the kind of approach that he's had. That's who Stephen A. Smith is now. So, okay, I apologize. I hope any of you guys that hung on and listened to Stephen A. Smith understand I'm sorry about that. How about a palate cleanse? Let's listen to Mark Kelly actually talk about Pete Hegseth, because I think he breaks down who he is so well here.
If what seems to happen actually happened, I'm really worried about our service members. I was talking about this from the beginning of this operation, that the thing that I am most concerned about is the very difficult situations that this Secretary of Defense is going to put
service members into. And it's because this guy is so unqualified for the job. I mean, think about this. He runs around on a stage talking about lethality and warrior ethos and killing people. We have the most competent, capable military this planet has ever seen by far. That's not the message that needs to come from the Secretary of Defense.
Pete Hegseth came in talking about lethality, lethality, lethality. He kept saying it 3 times because he really wanted to drive the point home that he's all about killing people. Again, this all matches up. All this makes sense. All this goes with their normal narrative. This goes with what they said they were going to do. They're going to be killing people, and they're going to say that it's okay because they're fascists and they don't follow the rule of law. They definitely don't follow the Constitution. They listen to Donald Trump. So on top of them being unlawful and criminal and war criminals, on top of it, it's also stupid because, like I said, it's following Donald Trump. Last part here. Here's Mark Kelly. Last little bit that describes exactly who this Pete Hegseth really is.
He runs around on a stage like he's a 12-year-old playing Army. And it is ridiculous. It is embarrassing. And I can't imagine what our allies think of looking at that guy in this job, one of the most important jobs in our country. In my view, after the President of the United States, it is the next most important job. He is in the National Command Authority for Nuclear Weapons. And last night, he's putting out on the internet turtles with rocket-propelled grenades. Have you seen this? This is the Secretary of Defense. This is not a serious person. He should have been fired after Signalgate. And then every single day after that.
So if you listen to the 2 different approaches to military protocol between Mark Kelly and Stephen A. Smith, which one sounds like they know what they're talking about? Which one has the experience to know what they're talking about? And as he described Pete Hegseth there as a 12-year-old playing Army, which is probably one of the best descriptions I've heard. It really encapsulates the whole thing. Stephen A. Smith has decided to go that route and follow behind that guy and then rail on the guy who's a decorated veteran, who's an astronaut, and who's a United States senator, because Stephen A. needs some extra attention. And Stephen A. Smith apparently doesn't care how he gets it. He doesn't care that he looks like he's protecting pedophiles. It doesn't matter to Stephen A. Smith. It doesn't matter that he's protecting a war criminal. It doesn't matter to him. Stephen A. Smith had some yelling to do.